Have on now? You see how many on line right now? 159. In Facebook, you can't see that.
This is the moment that Heather Dornadon brutally slammed into the ground on the last lap of a 600-metre race. She was overtaking from second place when the other runner's foot tripped her.
It looked like Fawn just clipped her heel and she went down,
completely devastating her chances of winning. Heather had been the favourite to win, but there were only 200 metres left of the race, so it was up to her teammate to bring it home. Heather's teammate used the clash as an opportunity to pull out from last place to the front of the pack, and it looked like she might just be able to get the win. And that's when something absolutely remarkable happened. Heather got up and started chasing down the pack.
Dornadon is flying down the backstretch.
She is catching up.
She is going to catch Fawn Dorr, and she may catch the leader. Wow.
But she's got Fawn.
This is a gutsy effort by Dornadon. Can she pull it off? She's moved into third. Dornadon coming down the stretch from the outside. Dornadon coming on strong. Dornadon all the way. Dornadon. She did it.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Horton, superintendent, the proud superintendent here at DeKalb County School District. I thought it was important that we start out with the whole idea of what a blameless culture looks like. And in addition to that, we are getting ready to start the Summer Olympics. And so I thought this video was powerful in so many levels, as we saw a dynamic race that just occurred, and it showed how resiliency, right, regardless of why the young lady failed or whatever the dynamics were, she was able to get up and push herself. And in addition to that, it lifted her team to move to a level who wasn't in first place at the time as well. And they both finished first and second in that race. I'm speaking to this because here in DeKalb County Schools, we have been on a journey. And today we're going to take you on a walk down Miracles Lane as we reflect on some of the successes and some of the future things that's coming down the pipeline for our amazing students and our staff. So please ride along with us as we talk about DeKalb County School District. Disrupting for excellence, new levels, new heights. This is our theme for the year. We were disrupting all of last year. Many of you, our parents, our students, our staff, the community got behind this work as we began to chip away at the boogeyman of what we all knew was COVID that really shook and disrupted our culture and our lives, and we began to fight back. Before I start speaking about this, I want to kind of just highlight how important it is for us as an organization that we focus on our strengths. And so with this, I just want to tell a little short story about a little popular restaurant that we're all familiar with. And there was a time when this restaurant, this giant called McDonald's, was getting ready to possibly hit a down spiral. And we all know that McDonald's is probably one of the most successful franchises in the history of the industry of food. And we see that. And they had to learn to refocus their priorities. And so for us, we are refocusing our priorities here in DeKalb County. McDonald's had to make a choice. They want to either focus on A, continue to build new facilities, new restaurants, or B, focus on bringing more customers to the current restaurants that they have. And they knew they couldn't do it with the same way of doing business. So they brought in a leadership team that had some familiarity with their organization. They brought them in. And then what they did from there, they went on a hunt and with their research team, and they had to find out what was the brand's strength. And from this strength, they created a framework. And so we operate from a framework here that we talk about. It's the Miracles Framework. It's a district improvement plan. But I want to talk about McDonald's and what they did. And so with the research team, they knew that they learned quickly that it was a youthful movement, not young people, but a youthful movement. And so from there, they had to bring about an attitude and not age. And then you know what was born from that? The whole idea, ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it, right? And so here we have McDonald's today that went from 49 million customers a day to 69 million, and now today even more. Changes were made, and again, they looked at the three corporate focuses for them in their framework, and they focused on financial discipline, excellence in operations, and an innovative marketing strategy. Again, that was a framework that they operated from. And McDonald's, the history is the history. And now we're living in a situation where we have adopted a framework, and it's the Miracles Framework. And it's about the motions towards equity. Number one, we all know when I came in last year, a year ago, I continue to hear how important it was for us to connect and collect the voices of the many from the corners of our county and different communities in our county that we were not necessarily able to touch. And some of the things that was born out of that, we formed a slew of superintendent advisory groups. Now, these groups are not perfect, but just understand it was an effort, right, that we put in place in order to really try to connect with our families. So there was the bilingual family superintendent advisory group that was well attended. We were able to get some amazing things done with connecting with that group of families. I can highlight one for sure is that on the average, for our summer program for our ESOL students, we were averaging a little under 1,000 students. But because we put the voices in place and we listened to our families and we made some adjustments, we now have 2,000 students who are enrolled in our summer program, our ESOL. It doubled the numbers just from putting the space. We have the parent advisory group. We're using our parent advisory group to help us know if we're on track, if we're meeting the mark, or if we're not. But they're giving us great feedback. The student superintendent advisory group, which was started the year prior, getting a chance to test out some of the ideas that we're going to share with you all today and that we're sharing, they gave us amazing feedback, our students, getting their student voice in the space. And then we had our CPAC, our special education advisory group. We only had one meeting. We brought it together in late spring. But it's awesome, and we're excited about what's going to come from that group. This is how we move towards equity. Another angle that we really lifted that was really powerful for us is our elementary athletics program. Think about this. Many of our students get an opportunity to participate in some of them in their local communities after school, but we have a high percentage of students who don't have a great YMCA or a great program that they can be a part of. Athletics brings school spirit. It brings about a healthy lifestyle, and it's fun. Like, think about it, being able to represent your school. And we're able to do that now. We hosted a series of camps over the school year. We hosted a soccer camp, track camp, basketball camps, all throughout the county in our three areas, and it was really successful, and people were buying in. So next year, all of our elementary schools will have the opportunity to have athletic teams, which we're supporting. We are now, for the first time in the district, the board just approved us for a $1.2 million contract to put athletic trainers in all of our 19 comprehensive high schools. Think about this. In the past, there were about 4 schools that had athletic trainers, and they were schools who parents and the local communities were able to fund and support. Well, this time we're taking that bill and we're making sure that our athletes are connected. That's an equity adjustment. And who could say, I can't say enough about our ambassadors. We speak 160 plus languages at different times throughout our district. And our ambassadors are parents that are taken through a training, and we leverage and they work with us and they represent us, and they could be a voice to the communities that we have not done a great job of connecting with. And so I'm so excited about the ambassadors, and I believe they're at a significant amount of our schools across the county. And I wanted to think about motion towards equity. As we talk about our future in the next state. Sorry. Next slide. What's the biggest thing happening under the equity umbrella for next year? Well, we have our student assignment project. Let's reimagine DeKalb County schools. What is student assignment? Student assignment is this. We have 3 critical focuses when we're trying to support our schools. One, facility itself. Do we have the right facilities, great conditions? Do we have the right attendance boundaries? But the most important one out of all is, do we have the right high quality programs where students get access across the entire county? Well, the student assignment planning project is coming to you very soon. Please be on the lookout for applications, videos, and explanation of what student assignment planning is. And we're asking for you as a community to sign up, because we will have about 60 to 70 individuals from across the county that will work together in their specific areas of their communities, as well as coming together to work collectively as a county as we work on attendance boundaries, identifying facility designs, and most importantly, again, high yield, high quality educational programming. This will help us to advance and to give recommendations to our school board around our SPLOST funding. We want to continue to maximize our facilities and our resources and your tax dollars so that we can create the best educational experiences for all of our students. Again, equity is about fairness. It's about making sure that people get the same opportunities. We need to ensure equity before we can enjoy equality from someone unknown. Improve the instructional core. This is why one of the main reasons we do school. So one of the things we had to do was make sure that our teachers, who has the greatest impact on student achievement, got the right support at the right time throughout the entire district. So we restructured our school leadership department. And what you will find, I'll give you a breakdown really simply. Prior to this restructuring, we had 2 ELA content coordinators for the entire district of 93,000 students. 2 math, 2 science, 2 social studies. I can keep going. And what's really important, we redesigned it where we now have 3 area elementary, 1 high school, 1 middle, and 1 specialty school, and then a horizon school for all of our schools that were identified to be in the bottom 10% in the district. And with that restructuring, for 1 area, you have an area superintendent, you have 2 executive administrators that focus on principals supporting their instructional lifts in their schools. You have 2 culture and climate coordinators that deal with discipline, parental challenges, and building culture. And then every one of those areas, they have 2 ELA content facilitators. They have math content facilitators, special education content facilitator, ELL special coordinator, and special education and a mental health. I'm sorry, wanted to share that. And so that design has been phenomenal. While you will hear conversations about the bloated administrative staff, what's really important for you to know that this bloated staff is here to support students and directly supporting schools. You will feel it, you'll be able to see it as you're going into schools and talking to different leaders across the district. The adoption of our 6 instructional systems. We did not have an instructional framework for our district. For the first time, there's an expectation that every single school, at a minimum, operates in these 6 instructional systems. That's leveraging standards to lead the work, looking at student data, leveraging our instructional framework, and pushing professional development really heavily, real strategically, MTSS supporting academic and behavior intervention, and that last arm, which we all must benefit from, professional development, coaching, and ongoing leadership improvement, teacher improvement, paraprofessional improvement, the entire gamut. And then finally, We looked at some of our schools who needed some additional support because our teachers work extremely hard. We put an academic skills center in 20 of our schools, and we served a significant amount of students where they're getting real-time coaching, teaching, tutoring, support, skill development during the school day by individuals who have been trained and actually getting support from us. And so we're seeing some pretty remarkable results as these students are benefiting from the ASC. Imagine having a Starbucks and a Kumon blended together, and now you have your academic skills center during the day. And they're not missing core subjects at all. So we're excited about the work that's happening in our improved instructional core. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, and involve me and I learn. Benjamin Franklin. Schoolmen is here. As you think about we have all these positions and all of these individuals going into these schools, we would like to make sure that we have collectively been able to identify what's happening with those individuals when they go into school, what they're sharing, and how frequent and how effective the feedback, the coaching, and the support. And so we have adopted Schoolmen as a platform that we will leverage, and we will be providing public updates quarterly on how this is working for our schools and for our leaders. Relevant and rigorous course of study. Enhancements for our CTAE. We had almost 2,000 seniors graduate, amazing, 2,000 roughly almost, that had industry recognized certifications. That's amazing because as you'll see, our goal is to put our students into a situation where they can be successful, whatever they decide to do. We have letters training. We have almost more than half of our K through third grade teachers already trained in letters. That is amazing. That in itself is a miracle because the state has mandated, and we are in agreement that the science of reading becomes the main standard in which how we teach literacy here in our district. And we've adopted a lot of other strategies. We're doing some additional work. We've joined some organizations going to help us build. We have one more year before this requirement goes full throttle, but we are ahead and know that we're prepared to really take this on. We also have adopted PSYOP training. PSYOP training is really phenomenal because we have an extremely diverse school district. We have, again, 160 different languages spoken in our district. And so it's important that we have found a way to equip all of our teachers with skills and strategies, regardless if they are an ESOL instructor or not, to be able to connect and reach every single student. It's an amazing strategy, and we have hundreds of teachers across our district that's been trained in PSYOP. And lastly, on this one, around relevant, rigorous course of study, I want to introduce you to what we call our post-secondary push planning. What is that? This is a process where we know every single student that graduates and walk across that stage. We have roughly 5,200 to walk across the stage back in May. We want to be sure that every single student, as we move forward, walks across the stage double-fisted with a degree from high school and with a full-fledged executed plan. And so we're going to have the senior advisors at every single high school, at least 3. There'll be 3 categories of students where you look at the highest scoring students to our mid to students who may not have had the most effective educational experience, but they're going to have an advisor that would help them identify a potential 2-year, 4-year military, college, trade, or even entrepreneurial experience. We call it the 4 E's: enroll, enlist, entrepreneur, or engage. And I think that is really important that we are jumping into that again, or employment as well. This is going to be a very heavy lift for us, but we know how critical it is for all students, regardless of what school they attend, that we find a way to get their best selves. So, what's a big deal here when we talk about the future under the relevant and rigorous course of study? Well, ACT/SAT day is coming to you soon. What does this mean? Here, we don't require students to take the college readiness, SAT or an ACT. But we know that only 1/3 of our seniors that graduated last school year had sat down for an ACT or an SAT. It's important as a leader, and as we've heard from different communities, we launched a series of focus groups talking to parents, talking to students. And what we heard from them is that we would love to have a day where the district committed and dedicated to us taking either the SAT or the ACT. Well, it's here, everyone. And so we're going to offer SAT or ACT prep in a target slate of schools for this next school year, free of charge, that the district will pay for. Think about that. We get a chance to expose our students to the resources. When we talk about relevant and rigorous course of study, we have to see our students all the way through. After all, I'm a parent in the district, and I know how difficult it was to help to get my daughter enrolled for the ACT exam and finding to take her out to that assessment. It was a big deal. And I want to make sure that our parents don't have to go through that. We want to help you, and we want to make sure that the prep is done well. The reality is that rigor is about starting where a student is learning and helping them grow to new heights. Dr. Barbara Blackburn, she is a rigor guru. Attracting and retaining high quality staff. Number one, first thing, we are excited that we had an opportunity to partner with IBEX for a CHRO search and a full-scale district-wide assessment. We have our new CHRO leader starting, Ms. Davis Mills. She's been amazing. She's been transitioning with Dr. Ward Smith. It's been a great process. The assessments are going well. The audit is going well. And we're looking forward to some dynamic lifts coming out of our CHRO department. I would also just like to highlight another component of our work that they've been doing around attracting and retaining. I think there's a piece of data that was shared with us this morning by Ms. Davis Mills, and there is a huge shortage. I think there was only 89,000 teachers that came through the ranks of teaching that came out of the program, and we have significant amount of teacher vacancies. 89,000 is nowhere near to even cover half of the vacancies across the country. And there's no difference here in DeKalb County Schools. While we've done an amazing job, continues to try to recruit and keep and build, it's hard to keep up with that. And so we launched what we call Ignite DeKalb Teacher Residency. So if you are at home and you have a bachelor's degree and you're interested and you have just a curiosity about becoming a teacher, I think you should check out Ignite, because Ignite is set up really well where you actually receive a stipend. We pay you $30,000 a year. And we also pay for your master's. And you finish your master's in a year, and you're in a cohort with about 8 to 10 residents at our training academies. Cohort 1 launched in January of this year. They're now in their summer classes in partnership with Middle Georgia State. They're currently getting ready to graduate in December, and they're currently also staffed at Southwest DeKalb High School, Henderson Middle, Columbia High School. I'm going through the list in my head. Chapel Hill, and it'll come to me in a second. But there are 5 of our schools, and these individuals are focusing on high school science and math, and then we have a couple of English individuals as well. That's amazing to see that. And then we have a new cohort that started this month in June, and there are 2 different schools. They're at Kennesaw State for special education, and then the cohort is coming from Clayton State. We have about 30 coming from there and 20 from Kennesaw. And these individuals next year around this time will be staffed at one of our schools, and they commit to work in our Horizon schools for at least 5 years. They sign a contract with us. We're excited about what's coming with Ignite. We can't sit back and wait. We're working to build teachers for us and by us. And then on this last set, I want to talk about the retention incentives. There's been a significant amount of effort from our board and our CFO and our team to really make sure that we can celebrate and recognize and save and bring back and keep the phenomenal educators, not just classroom teachers, but the amazing educators that we have. And so just so for the record, so we'll understand today, I'll talk about this later a little bit more. We just had an opportunity to approve our budget. Our budget is around $99 million more than what it was last year. Yes, the cost of inflation and all these other things, but I want to also share we had a compensation and classification study. And the board was adamant, and our team felt the same way. We're spending roughly, in addition to what the governor, the state has required us to add to our educators, and we love it, an additional roughly $55 million. If you look at that 99 million, about 55 million, to make sure that our staff is compensated competitively. The step increases are worth $5 million. We have retention bonuses that we're spending around 27 million that our staff will receive sometime in late August or early September for those who return. There are some amazing things that are happening within our schools, and we want to make sure that our staff feels appreciated and valued. I can also go on and mention what else is critical, which is this. Our teachers are now starting at $60,000 with a bachelor's degree. We're giving everyone, 97% of our staff is receiving a raise of 5% or greater, with our teachers and some of our paraprofessionals being on the higher end of that. We can't thank you all enough for the work and for what they do, but we are trying to be as responsive as possible and as responsible as possible to make sure that we can compensate. Well, before I go any further, I want to also highlight the community has been extremely supportive, and I want to thank you. And we all know there's so much that goes into building a phenomenal winning program. And I look at our district as we have to be a winning program. Students achieving academically, socially, in the arts, on the field, that's so critical. And so I want to just talk about a movie that's really dynamic. And it reminds me of the profession of teaching and of education. And so I'm going to play this little video for you.
Most people never get to see the behind the scenes of a major motion picture. All of the details that need to come together to make it happen. Here's some context. You have the visionary, the director, our leader. Did you know that it took almost 3,000 people to complete the first Avatar movie? But our leader first needs his main cast, or cabinet. Then, like any strong support system, the main cast needs a strong supporting cast, or system, our district. Each and every single person who works in the district makes the vision possible. We believe in the power of teamwork, because it's only when we work together that we can disrupt for excellence.
And with that, I want to thank our 14,000+ employees that we currently have here in DeKalb County School District. We've worked hard. Our teachers are on the front line, but there's so many people that's supporting them. So when you hear the words of administrator heavy, too many people in central office, please understand that there's not an individual sitting around here on our team that's sitting on their hands and collecting a check. Everyone is working. Their roles are critical and the roles are valuable. Every single district is also unique. And so the needs of the DeKalb County schools, we must take it on. Think about it. Almost 3,000 people to make such an amazing movie. That was a movie. Imagine the type of work and support that it requires to uplift all of our students here in DeKalb County School District. So I want to thank you. I also would like to recognize we have an amazing communications department because after all, they who control the media controls the world. And we have a phenomenal comms team. So if you're fact finding and you're trying to identify what's happening, please be sure to check out our comms team, our social media, our websites, our emails. They have been phenomenal. It's not just me saying it. As you can see, the type of celebrations and recognitions that they've received just this year alone. They've been receiving these recognitions for quite some time. And I think it's important that every single person understands how dynamic they are. When people are financially invested, they want to return. When people are emotionally invested, they want to contribute. Again, thank you and our staff for their contribution, and we're looking for more to come and join DeKalb County School. We are on the hunt for some talented educators and talented leaders. Please make sure you go to our website and check us out. Commitment to accountability. Accountability has become a very unpleasant word in many spaces. But I want to be honest, accountability, productive accountability, is the only way that we can really change the culture here. And so I want to start out first with, we have our SPLOS audit that was started a year before I came. It's getting ready to come to a close at the end of this month, if I'm not mistaken. We're excited about that. We're going to take the findings and be able to take those findings, make adjustments accordingly, and move the work forward. There's also the ESSER audit. We're auditing the first 2 years of the ESSER audit. That's coming to an end very, very soon as well. These audit findings is how we hold ourselves accountable. Yes, we will look for what didn't go well, because it was a load of money, a load of dollars that was released to the school districts across this country with not that many rules. And so there was a lot of quote unquote chaos across the country around how to use these dollars. And I would like to say there was some really great structures and systems put in place prior to me arriving that allowed our ESSER spending to become a lot more focused. And so I am looking forward to what the audit will say, and we're going to take those findings and right the ship. I also want to just give a shout out to our phenomenal school board. They've been great. They've been through a lot. They've been through the fire. And two things that are really critical. They have been united this year. You've seen them in public with having really robust discussions and conversations about a lot of critical items. But I can say this also regarding that. The bulk of those conversations has been about the work. How amazing to have a school board that's being transparent and willing to have the discussions around the challenges or the successes of this district. That is not an easy task, and they've done a great job. And proof behind that is in the most recent findings from Cognia is that they're actually moving up into the positive around their board governance, which is a huge accomplishment considering what this community and what this board has been through. And so I'm excited to be a partner with them and for them to be a partner with me. Again, it's amazing. And finally, as we're talking about this miracles is not just there's not a word that sounds cool or just a catchy phrase. What it is a way of life. And so we've taken every single action that we have prioritized, that the district has prioritized, and we take the time, one full day a month, and we go through every single priority, anywhere between 130 to 160 different priorities. No matter how large or how small or how significant, we bring every cabinet member in with their key team leaders, and they walk through these priorities and give updates. They talk about the successes, they talk about the challenges, and then we as a group brainstorm on how to move the work to the next level. It has been an amazing juncture, and I can say I'm excited about the new strategic plan. I'm going to talk about that shortly and where we're going to be heading with this work. So thank you for all that you all have done to support this. So when you see the word miracles, it's not just a word, it's a way of life for us. Commitment to accountability. The board created a policy committee, which is amazing. We have that policy committee meeting tomorrow. I believe it starts and it's tomorrow afternoon, if I'm not mistaken. So if you have time, please tune in. And the board accreditation with Cognia, I wanted to reiterate that. The only way we succeed as a group is not simply following directions, but in keeping each other accountable for our actions. And that has been my whole experience this year. And I'm hoping that our families are starting to see and feel the intentionality of the change that we're taking here at DeKalb County School District. Learning environments that support student success. We have safe centers. We have 5 of them with a couple of other safe centers on the horizon. And they're in our high schools. And so students and families, staff can go in and get mental health support. They can go in and get, if they are limited on resources, or if they just need a place to take a break from the day-to-day grind of being in school, they can go in these spaces, and they have phenomenal resources that helps our students to really refocus, refresh, and get back out there and challenge themselves. So I want to thank that team for what they're doing. And we have more safe centers coming. You hear us talk a lot about FACE advocates, PBIS, restorative practice. Today, for example, we had 80 staff members trained. It's the summertime, but 80 staff members took time out of their day to be trained in restorative, and it's a 2-day training. So we're excited because we have to build a restorative culture. We got to get away from the hook and book, where we're looking to penalize and punish students who have already been challenged. We have to find ways to connect. So I'm thankful for those students and those staff members, I should say. And we're going to have more student staff soon signing up. PBIS. We have I think a total of 10 schools, an additional 7 coming on deck that are going to be positive behavior intervention support. Well, there'll be PBIS schools. They're the whole school. All staff will be trained and coaches to support students to really be supported when they're doing great things, when they've had growth, and they'll support them. And then I can't say enough about our FACE advocates. We have about 45 FACE advocates across our district in certain campuses where they've had high levels of dysregulated students, and they're working with students. There was an article in the AJC a couple of weeks ago to talk about our FACE advocate program and what's happening. And we're going to continue to try to support our students and be as disruptive as we possibly can. And then we have Strategics. Strategics has been great for us as we've had quite a few incidents that without Strategics could have went wrong. And so we're excited about the resource that we've used where our teachers have been able to hit that button and bring the support in when they need. Our staff has been great. And then we also have Evolve. And I would just like to point out for Evolve, what has been really magnificent with Evolve is this. Last school year, FY23, there were 24 guns that were found in our district. This year, we put Evolve in for the first time. There have been 4 guns found this past school year. One is way too many, don't get me wrong. But we are not only just finding them, but we're also discouraging our students from bringing those type of weapons into our schools. So I want to, again, reiterate that. We're currently working on funding that we'll be bringing forward to the board this month, well, in July, to actually put the Evolve in all of our football stadiums because we know safety doesn't just live within our schools, within the actual physical schools. They live in our sports plexes as well. The other thing I want to say, we got great news for our elementary schools around safety. We got a safety and security grant for $6.6 million, and every single elementary school will have a safety aide at their campus. How awesome is that? And this is really about making sure that we can help with dismissal, entry in the morning, securing doors when people may go out the side doors, and just having a set of eyes that's focused on keeping our children and our staff safe. So we're thankful for that. Here's what I would like to really talk about here. This is a hot item that's coming across the sweep in the country. There's been school districts that have banned cell phones across the entire district. There have been some that's done grade bans. Disconnect to reconnect is what's really critical. If you walk in any school in our district across this country, you're going to see some students on their phones. Whether they're allowed to do it or not, there's a ton of research that talks about how it's a distraction to the learning environment. For those who, of course, there are exceptions where students have really benefited from cell phones, but we do have some situations where they have not, more situations that are not beneficial than others. And so we have 10 of our schools that are going to be piloting these cell phone pouches starting in the new school year. Those schools have been made aware of who they are. We have another set of schools, around 7, that will be using the cell phone lockers. And those cell phone lockers will have a very similar use where they will actually be putting their cell phones away. And we're going to slowly work through and find out all of the challenges that it takes to really implement a no cell phone use in the classroom process. There's a campaign, I'm sure I've seen comments and you've seen them as well on our Facebook page and our social media around the different research that's coming out. Social media has been a huge issue with our students. And so that's another area that we're really trying to lean into. So please just know, for learning environments that support student success, this one is coming to some of the schools near you. And in a year, our goal would be to go district-wide as we work out the kinks. If children feel safe, they can take risk, ask questions, make mistakes, learn to trust, share feelings, and grow. The young lady fell in that race at the beginning. She got right back up and she ended up winning. And that's what we want to make sure that we provide our students an opportunity to continue to win. Establishing expected targets driven by results. I can't speak enough about the process that we just leveraged as a district to do our strategic plan. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Everett and her leadership in this process. She walked us through it. We had steering committees, we had focus groups, we had surveys. We met with the board 3 times and got amazing feedback from all 4 structures. And the strategic plan was really great, is that at this time, we've also not just had the actual plan itself, we have goals we have strategies, and we have KPIs. So we can measure what we say our expectations are. And what's really cool for us is that these strategic plans and these strategies will maneuver over to be miracles priorities for this new school year. So now we'll be moving this work intentionally and strategically throughout the entire year, the next 5 years, and setting towards our long-term goals. And you're going to be able to see that. We'll be releasing that full piece. The board approved it earlier this month, and we're excited. Another component to the strategic plan that was really powerful is that the last strategic plan that was done in 2019, prior to the pandemic, there were roughly, during the survey process, there was roughly 780 individuals who responded for a district with 94,000 students. This year, through our process, through the great work of our team, we had 10,800 families respond. So the voices of the many were really captured and collected. We are proud of that because what that says is that our constituents, our stakeholders are really believing and understanding that their voice matters, and they're really stepping into the spaces and it's allowing us to capture what really was really serious and which direction we have to go. And we've been able to do that. This reality check, I don't know if you know this, but I think our staff knows, but for our stakeholders, after every MAP assessment, we host these sessions called reality checks. We want to look at MAP data, student attendance, and student discipline. Our Horizon schools specifically, they receive a lot, so we also expect a lot. We bring them in, and with them, we bring our chief academic officer, our chief of schools, our chief of student services, and their teams to really talk to them about their data. And they dissect it in every which way possible, and we come up with recommendations. We're excited. And then in our other areas, the area superintendents host the reality checks at their schools. So every school is still getting good feedback and quality feedback from their teams. And so we're thankful for our leaders at the schools who've been open to this. And I can tell you the culture that we're building here is nothing short of phenomenal around expecting what we expect and being accountable for moving the needle for our students. And then if you see this picture over on the side, I'm one of the luckiest people in the district because I get to spend time and talking with students and going into every single school. 88 schools later, I've had 88 what we call H-Pride visits, where I had a chance with my team and key principal, AP, parents, students, and some teachers to come in and talk to them about the work of their school and then what we can do as a district to better help improve the outcomes at their campus. And so those take anywhere between an hour to 90 minutes. We got into 88 schools this year, and you best believe we're coming to get into the rest of those schools this year. So please hold tight. If we haven't been to your school, just know we're coming. And even if we've been in your school, we have something else for you. And please stay tuned for more information for that as well. This is a way for me as a school leader to really learn intimately about our campuses, about our schools, about our people, but most importantly, about our students and how dynamic they are, how phenomenal they are, how connected. And we have some great opportunity to grow and develop. And some of the recommendations that you're seeing today came from collective understanding about what's happening in our schools in these H-Pride visits. And altogether, there were 131 school visits total, but 88 of them were H-Pride, and we're coming. What are our goals around the scholarship earnings? Last year, we had around $42 million this past school year in scholarship earnings. But we know now with our post-secondary push plan, we've set that goal at $100 million in scholarship earnings across the district. And we're not just doing this for fluff. We actually have strategies and techniques and resources to help students earn more scholarship dollars and help those who have not had the opportunity to receive scholarship funds to actually put them in position to do well. And then 100% our goal of our all K through third teachers to be trained in the science of reading. Letters is our leading systems training module right now, and we're looking at some other things, but our goal is to get all of our teachers trained and have a full-fledged plan. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. I think most of us, if not all of us, understand that, and it has influenced and impacted many of us in so many ways. And I know for myself, it impacted me in a really positive way. Sound fiscal stewardship. I am happy to report that our team has went fully live with our ERP implementation. The Munis, it has been 7 to 8 years in the making. And we took a very aggressive approach this year with our team. They locked in and they got it done. And we're going to launch our first payroll on Friday. And we have systems set up to actually capture people who if we make some mistakes on payroll. But we've done a really great job, and ERP is off and running, and we're excited about that. That ERP component has been connected to many of our audit findings where we did not meet the mark, and ERP is here, and we're excited. Facilities. I'll talk about that on the next slide, but I just want to say we have a ton of projects that we've completed and even more that's going. An example being we have 3 brand new schools that's getting ready to break ground in the next month or 2. Sequoia Middle, Sequoia High. We have Dresden Elementary, and then we have a full renovation taking place at Cross Keys. Those are communities that have been, I would say, and at times what I've been told, neglected and not fully supported. In this community, this board has gotten together and said, hey, let's do this right. DeKalb Schools Foundation, Educational Foundation. We have a foundation, everyone. So if you have some support or a resource that you would like to send our way, and you want to get it in the hands of a group of individuals who are locked in and ready to support and find some unique ways to support the schools, please check out our DeKalb County School Educational Foundation website. We've been working on it for the full year. You can talk to our team. We are excited about where we're headed, and just thanking those individuals, those board members who have made the commitment to be a part of this phenomenal opportunity for us. ESSER funds, as we know, they're coming to an end. Please know that there will be a load of information that's going to come out over the next couple of months to just highlight some of the successes and impacts that ESSER has had over our district. We are excited about what has occurred so far, and it is an honor to be able to come in at the tail end of this and see how we're able to use these funds to make change. Here we go. We just again approved a balanced budget today. Kudos to our finance team and everyone involved. We're excited about that. That was not an easy move. We also did a reduction by 1/10 in our millage rate. Thanking our board for not just accepting the norm and pushing us. We found ways to lower it, and we will be launching a full-fledged plan to address the millage rate. We've heard from a lot of constituents that there are some critical focuses that you want us to lean into. And as we talk about our projects, there are 18 major projects that are going on right now around our SPLOS. We've paused 5 of them for numerous reasons, construction challenges and other pieces, but we want to be transparent. And remember, effective stewardship of the public finances has to be the heart of everything we do. Balanced budget. And I know you probably can't see this screen, but I want to point you to the map over on the right-hand side. And this map shows you complete or closeout phase of projects, number of projects, 34, and ongoing construction phases, 32. Please take a look at this. They're all over the county. As we talk about the reality and the mythical idea that we're not doing work equitably across the county, this map will tell you different. Can we do better? Absolutely. And we will continue to lean into our community and making sure that we hear your voices as we please again sign up for the SAP, the Student Assignment Planning. That's going to be important. We need your voice. And if you can't be on a committee, which is going to take a lot of time commitment, please be sure to take place in our focus groups, our surveys, and all of that. And speaking of hearing your voice, I know that this community is ramped up about getting their voices in spaces because we had 10,800 to complete surveys. And I can't tell you the number of thought exchanges we had. And speaking of thought exchange, this is my first time closing out our school year. I want to get your feedback. Honest, tell us what we can do better. We're always looking to do that, looking in the mirror to improve. And again, thanking you for taking your time this evening when I know you could be with your family and preparing dinner or just hanging out at home, enjoying your summer. We thank you We're looking forward to an amazing school year coming up soon. We have about a month of school left, of summertime left, about 5 weeks, I should say. Please enjoy that and be ready to come back or ready to go because will continue to disrupt for excellence, but this time going for new levels, new heights. Take care.